They say money brings out the worst in people. But when my grandfather passed away, I learned that money doesn't just make people greedy, it makes them delusional. My grandfather, Arthur, was 92 when he died. He was a stubborn, grumpy, wonderful old man who loved woodworking and hated handouts. For the last 5 years of his life, his health was declining. He couldn't drive, he couldn't cook, and eventually, he couldn't walk. I was 24, working a remote job, so I did the logical thing. I moved in with him. I spent 5 years changing his bandages, cooking his meals, and listening to his war stories. It wasn't always easy, but I loved him. He was my best friend. Then there was his daughter, my Aunt Linda. Linda is the kind of woman who wears designer sunglasses indoors and forgets her wallet at dinner. She lives 3 hours away, but in the 5 years I lived with Grandpa, she visited exactly twice. Once to ask for a loan for a new car, and once to drop off a fruitcake at Christmas that she clearly bought at a gas station. Whenever I called her to say Grandpa was getting worse, she was always too busy. She had yoga retreats, business trips, or migraines. She told me, "You're young. You can handle it. I have a life." Well, Grandpa eventually passed away peacefully in his sleep. I was devastated. I spent the morning crying in the kitchen. At noon, the front door burst open. It was Linda. She wasn't crying. She wasn't holding flowers. She was holding a U-Haul key. She walked right past me, didn't even give me a hug, and started pointing at things. "I want that grandfather clock. I'm taking the silver set. And where's his coin collection? I know he had gold coins." I stood up. I told her, "Linda, he died 6 hours ago. The coroner just left. Can we maybe grieve for a second?" She looked at me like I was a maid. She said, "I am grieving. This is how I process. Besides, I'm his only living child. By law, this is all mine anyway. You were just a caretaker. You should probably pack your bags. I'm putting the house on the market next week." I didn't say anything. I just handed her a business card. It was for Grandpa's lawyer, Mr. Henderson, I told her. Grandpa left instructions. The reading of the will is on Thursday. Touch nothing until then. Linda laughed. She said, "Fine. I'll wait 3 days to collect my check." Thursday arrived. We sat in Mr. Henderson's office. Linda was wearing black, but she looked like she was trying to hide a smile. She had actually brought a catalog for a luxury cruise with her. She was already spending the money. Henderson sat down and opened the folder. He looked at Linda over his glasses. "The last will and testament of Arthur Vance," he began. "To my daughter, Linda, I leave the sum of $1. The room went silent. You could hear a pin drop. $1? Linda shrieked. "That's a typo. That has to be a mistake, Mr. Henderson continued calm as a cucumber. "I leave the sum of $1 and my collection of VHS tapes, which she never watched. To my grandson, who gave up his 20s to care for an old man, I leave my house, my savings account, my truck, and the rest of my estate." Linda stood up so fast her chair fell over. She was screaming. She called me a thief. She called the lawyer a crook. She yelled, "He was senile. My father didn't know what he was doing. This boy manipulated him. It's undue influence. I'm suing." And she did. 2 weeks later, I was served with a lawsuit. Linda was suing to invalidate the will. Her argument was that Grandpa had dementia and that I had poisoned his mind against his own daughter to steal the fortune. It was a nightmare. My assets were frozen. I couldn't sell the house. I had to hire my own lawyer using my personal savings. Linda was playing dirty. She had text messages from 2015 where Grandpa forgot a birthday, claiming it proved he was mentally incompetent. The court date arrived 6 months later. Linda's lawyer was aggressive. He painted a picture of me as a predator who preyed on a confused old man. Linda sat there crying fake tears, dabbing her eyes with a tissue, talking about how much she loved her daddy and how confused he was at the end. It looked bad. The judge seemed sympathetic to the grieving daughter. Then, it was our turn. My lawyer stood up. "Your Honor," he said, "we would like to submit one piece of evidence. Exhibit A." He rolled a TV into the courtroom. He put a DVD into the player. The screen flickered on. It was a video recording. It was Grandpa. He was sitting in his armchair, holding a newspaper. The date on the newspaper was clearly visible. It was just 3 months before he died. He looked straight at the camera, clear-eyed and sharp. "Hello, video," Grandpa said. "I'm recording this because I know my daughter. Linda, if you are watching this, it means you are suing your nephew. I told Mr. Henderson you would." Linda froze in her seat. Her face went pale. The video continued. "I want to be very clear for the court. I am of sound mind. I know exactly what day it is. It is Tuesday. The president is named. And I know exactly why I am cutting you out of my will." Grandpa leaned into the camera. "You aren't getting my money because you weren't there. When I fell and broke my hip, you were in Cabo. When I needed surgery, you sent a text message. This boy gave me 5 years of his life. You gave me a headache. I am leaving you $1 so that you cannot claim I forgot you. I remembered you perfectly. I remembered that you are selfish. Judge, please give the boy the money. And Linda, get a job." The video ended. The courtroom was dead silent. The judge looked at the TV. Then he looked at Linda. Linda wasn't crying anymore. She was staring at the table, refusing to look up. The judge cleared his throat. "Well," he said, "that seems definitive." He dismissed the case immediately. But he didn't stop there. Because Linda had brought a frivolous lawsuit that wasted everyone's time, the judge ordered her to pay my legal fees. I walked out of that courtroom with the inheritance, the house, and a judgment against Linda for $15,000 in lawyer bills. I haven't spoken to her since. But I did hear from a cousin that she had to cancel her luxury cruise to pay the court. I still live in the house. I kept Grandpa's wood shop exactly how he left it, and sometimes, when I'm down there working, I play that video again, not for the legal proof, but just to hear his voice one more time, reminding me that he knew exactly who loved him.